Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on where you're watching us from. Welcome to yet another edition of Coffee Connect. Coffee Connect is a conversation series in partnership with Startinev and the UK Tech Hub in Kenya to just figure out the state of the ecosystem in Kenya and in Africa. And today we are demystifying EdTech. I think we just hear EdTech. So we may have some founders who've raised a couple of millions, some who are training, some who are others are actually everyone is either training or they've been funded. Yes, so looking forward to hearing what the first is about EdTech. I'm going to start from the middle with Gitahi, an entrepreneurship specialist at ALX. Please introduce yourself and what you're doing in the EdTech space.
Great. Hi, my name is Gitahi. I am the entrepreneurship specialist at ALX Ventures. That is the arm of ALX, or Africa Leadership Group, that focuses on empowering young people who want to venture into entrepreneurship, i.e. start businesses, or they want to be freelancers, i.e. monetize their skills and talents. So I train, I run the programs, I speak, I coach, I do a lot of one-on-one mentorship as well. So if you'd like to know more, please go to ALX-Ventures.
Then we have a founder, one of the Stevens, Steven Gatei from Mwalimu Connect. So what do you do at Mwalimu Connect?
Should I introduce myself?
Yes.
I've already done. So I'm Stephen Gatei. I'm the founder of Mwalimu Connect. What we do at Mwalimu Connect, we do have 3 key pillars. One, we do have an education jobs board, and 2, we do upskill teachers, and 3, we do provide quality, affordable hardware and software in the education sector.
Yes. Then we have another Stephen. You're both a founder, but you're also a trainer. Yeah. So please introduce yourself.
So my name is Siloma Steven. I'm a web developer. I run a digital agency where I do digital marketing, graphic design, and web development. Aside from that, I realized that so many young people are not learned. Myself coming from a background where education was a challenge, so I built a learning management system, which I've been failing for 5 years, by the way.
Failing?
Yes. But ultimately I did one. And I realized that YouTube is a very good resource, because I came from the school of YouTube, and I aggregated around 79 courses in digital skills, ranging from basic foundations of IT to digital marketing, web development, software development, AI, and I train young people for free. And then after training them, I teach them to monetize their skill and set up creative agencies of their own, and therefore ending unemployment.
Interesting. So I'll first start by painting a picture when we say EdTech. Yeah, how is the ecosystem like? So I'll give a few figures. Africa's e-learning market is valued at about 3.4 billion, projected to grow to 19.7 billion by 2034. Mwalimu Connect has already eaten 2 million. 2 million of that. Anyway, about 500 EdTech startups operating across the continent, over 400 million smartphone users. So that means education can actually reach this population we are talking about. And of course, governments in Kenya, South Africa is another one. We've seen them now really embrace innovation, tech training, even coding curriculums being introduced into mainstream learning. Yeah? And I'm going to start with Mwalimu Connect and Stephen. Yeah? So you've built a pretty interesting platform. What problem did you see in the space that you thought you could solve? How have you done it? How has the journey been like? Be as expansive as you possibly can. How has that been? And what are you doing?
Okay, thank you. How Mwalimu Connect started, the first problem that we identified was teaching job opportunities for teachers in the education sector. And it was very interesting that, let me just say how Mwalimu Connect started. In my family, we do have 7 teachers and 2 private school owners. So I remember during these family events, you'll hear some of your relatives saying, they're not able to find the right young teachers. Then outside here, I will meet young teacher graduates who are saying they're not able to find employment. So that thought provoked me, and that's how we built a platform to link the private school owners with the young teachers looking for jobs in the market. So when we used to go and pitch in schools, we realized that there was one common pain point, ICT infrastructure in schools. Then again, that is how we went back to the drawing board and thought of how we could come up with a solution to assist these teachers or these schools find quality, affordable hardware. So we'll say that's how Mwalimu Connect started.
Yeah. And the journey has been interesting for you. Now you have HP on board, you have Coursera, Microsoft. I could mention others, but I think those have been the three main ones. How has that big connection been? And is it helping you build?
So I'll say that when I identified the problem matters hardware and software, I knew the only way to solve this problem is to onboard one of the OEMs to come up with a solution.
What does OEM mean?
Original equipment manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
So was it in April 2023, Mwalimu Connect was selected to join the Microsoft for Startups Accelerator. When we joined that accelerator, we already had identified the problems. So it is through the program that HP was brought on board. So what we were able to do with HP, after identifying a certain problem in the education sector, was that most of the equipment that goes to the schools are overspec'd. That already makes the cost high.
By overspec, you mean they are of a higher spec?
Why does a PP1 learner need to use a Core i5
okay.
or Core i7?
Yeah.
So already that makes the price go up.
Yeah.
So we were able to convince HP to come up with a basic entry-level laptop,
Yeah.
which they did. So apart from that, we did not just want to dump equipment in the school. We wanted to take a laptop to the school with content, with software, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So also through Microsoft, we all know that most of the people outside here do buy the cracked version of the Microsoft softwares.
Yeah.
And education being a very big market, we were able to negotiate for a subsidized cost,
Yeah.
which Microsoft also agreed. So that Microsoft software comes pre-installed from the factory. So if you remember, I mentioned on pillar number 3, it was access to quality, affordable hardware and software. So also when we were in the accelerator, Microsoft brought in Coursera. Coursera is one of the largest learning management software companies globally. Actually the largest in MENA, Middle East and Northern Africa. So I fine-tuned it for them, we co-created for them for the Kenyan market, and Mwalimu Connect runs that LMS in Kenya.
Mm-hmm. So you're just talking about big names, yeah? Coursera, HP, Microsoft. I mean, I'm sure it's not been an easy journey, but I have one very big question for you. Did you do it because you had raised or because you knew people? So in short, the question is, have you raised? If you've raised, how much and what has been the journey with the raise? Yeah.
No, we did not do it because we raised. Actually, I like telling young people that when you do the right thing, money will chase you.
Mm-hmm.
The first 2 years, to be very honest with you, I was chasing money, like anybody else. Until it got to a point where I asked myself, why am I chasing the money and I'm not getting the money? So I built those solutions that I've just mentioned to you.
Mm-hmm.
What I was looking at, or what we are looking at, is to be different from what other people are offering.
Mm-hmm.
Along the way, it is when, actually my story is very interesting. My mentor turned to be the investor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us an amount?
No.
Okay. You've partially talked about funding, and I want to switch to the people who actually train entrepreneurs here. And I believe one of the things you train entrepreneurs on is the raising journey. Yeah? How to raise, when to raise, how to have your pitch deck and all that. Would you say that entrepreneurs are generally ready for investment? And the reason I'm asking that and how it ties into EdTech, do we have a gap for entrepreneurs building in the ecosystem generally? Yeah.
I I wouldn't say a lot of entrepreneurs are ready for investment because they're generally not ready to build.
Yeah.
Most of the entrepreneurs we're seeing now in incubators, academies, hackathons, their first question is there funding? Is there money? And then if you look at like even history and how it switched from the focus being money to actually they may just build a solution and then money just appeared.
Yeah.
Not just appeared of course, but there was a value proposition with what he was building in the solution that people noticed
Yeah.
and now said, you know what, now we can back this guy up.
Yeah.
A lot of entrepreneurs now are building beautiful, aesthetically pleasing solutions that either are not practical, don't have a genuine existing market, or there is a market but that's not the problem they actually want solved, or even if it's a problem that they want solved, the value proposition isn't strong enough for the customers to actually buy it. So then you're building for an investor instead of a customer. And business is actually meant to solve problems for human beings, i.e. customers who bring in the revenue. From the revenue, you can attract your profit. From tracking your profit, now an investor can help you accelerate growth
Yeah.
and scale,
Yeah.
which is the whole point of investment. So unfortunately, at least even for me when I'm doing trainings, one of the things I start with is if you're looking for money, you're not in the right space. You can find another program. If you're looking to just get investment, you are not an entrepreneur. You're just someone who has either authority issues or you just want to get a retirement plan. And that's why even investors are pulling away right now.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't now sponsor just an idea. They need to see, have you actually invested in it yourself? Do you believe it enough to put money, to invest in it, to go out and bootstrap, make it grow, go to those customers, do some market research, prototype, take it to market, feedback, reiterate, pivot? Have you done that whole journey or you just give me the idea? I.e., you're asking me for my money to make your dream come true.
Yeah.
Which, if right now, if I asked you for money to go to Dubai, would you give me?
Mhm.
It's me who wants to go to Dubai, not you, so
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense. So in the programs, we are trying to catch them at the idea stage, at least at ALX Ventures with the Founder Academy. When we catch you, they're able to hopefully ensure, the way Christians say, anointing flows from the head. If you ensure your brain is, or your focus is in the right direction, which is focused on the customers, perhaps there's a better chance for you to eventually get investment.
And how has that journey of training founders been generally? Just
It's hectic because there's a lot of entitlement. I think it's also this, we're in a microwave generation right now where things are pretty fast. AI has come in, ChatGPT can craft a document for you in seconds. So now you don't need to take a whole day to just prepare a document. So there's a lot of things that have enabled quick and easy formulation or crafting. Unfortunately, because of that, now everyone just thinks everything comes easy. You expect the money to just come immediately. I don't know how long Connect has been in this industry for, but I remember I met you 2023 at the EdTech conference.
Yeah.
And even then, you hadn't raised yet, but you're
Yeah.
still building on the solutions. And he had a platform, he was given a platform to speak because his solution was making sense. So then it's a bit hard when the mind isn't aligned with the reality on the ground. So it's been a bit tough, but then along the way, the ones who genuinely still do want to solve a problem for their community do switch and see the reality. We're not saying you'll never get money. We're just saying your focus shouldn't be the money. The focus should be the solution. And now we now see a beautiful outcome of entrepreneurs who are actually solving everyday problems and filling the gaps for communities.
there, Stephen. Yeah. Great Academy. So first, I want to hear the 5 years failure journey, and now to a place where now you've decided to actually offer education for free, and how you've been able to do that. I think is quite amazing. So how has that journey been?
I think I'll start with my own story. And basically, what I do right now is because of my background. I am a pastoralist, if we can put it like that. I'm a nomad, as they say. So, growing up, I grew up in the village, and not most of my peers are learned. And this would lead to a lot of black tax if you're the only person who's learned. And you'll be home, you'll just go home and people will be like, wow, this is our learned fellow. So you find that if you come from a marginalized community, very few people are learned. In high school, I was sponsored myself. So you come and realize that so many of your people are not learned, and you're like, how can I improve their lives? How can they have a skill such that someone does not tell you, you're in Nairobi, right? Get me a job. And then you're like, which kind of job? Because maybe you've got no papers, there's no way to help you. And what happens, and it's in with most communities, you're seen as the person who never wants to help people. But you're like, how can I really, really help them? So what happened is, when I came to Nairobi, I went to campus, really struggled with that education, but I thank God my sister was there. She's the one that actually was able to pay for my fees. Although I found out that she was really struggling to do that. And after I cleared, I went to now being very jobless for years. And my first job was very, very hard and very low paying. So I lived in the ghetto for 6 years. Yes, I was in Mathare. So I know what it means to, lack the basics. I know what it means to have nobody to look up to. Because in your village, you're the only person that you can look up to. You look up to yourself. So in all this, I really struggled to make ends meet. And that's when I said, what do I have? What do I have in my hands? I realized I have a house and my sister had a laptop. So what I didn't have was internet. So there was a certain cyber there. And I hope I'm not taking most of the time. I continue.
Yes.
Okay. So there's a certain cyber. And the cyber guy asked him, how much would it cost to get internet from here to my house? Told me the cost. I need a cat cable, I need a radio and all these things. I said I don't have money. So I was a DJ. I've sold t-shirts. I've sold a lot of things just to ensure that I'm able to buy a radio and to buy that cable such that I have internet. And it was crazily slow. We're talking speeds of 128 Mbps, kbps that is. Yes, those are the speeds we are talking about, and at night it will be around 300, 500. So it was a very, very hard moment, and I realized that I didn't learn anything in campus. It's just a Java that was written on a blackboard, and there was nothing practical to do. And it was the advent of YouTube then. It wasn't as much saturated as now with content. But that's when I learned graphic design. I learned how to do websites and such things. So that's when I started upskilling myself. So when my friends were actually and peers were actually clubbing, I would upskill myself. I gave my all in everything, got jobs here and there. I started growing in it. I landed into photography, and I became a photographer, so I would have extra income. But then I realized skills was not enough, because I was like, okay, you've learned all these things, but you're not growing. So I realized that entrepreneurship is a craft. I need to learn how to build. I need to learn how to do my finances, how to scale up, how not to be the only guy that is handling all these things. And then during the COVID time, I think 2019, around 2019, I said, let me upskill others as well, because at least I'm somewhere. Yes, I'm not at the very, very high level, but what I have can feed me. It can pay for my basics. And if I transfer what I have to someone else, I would have helped that person. Yeah. And what happened is that I started teaching for free every weekend. I would do posters and start teaching from around 2 p.m. to around 9 for like 7-8 hours for free. I will teach design, I'll teach web development, and I will record these courses and I'll put them on YouTube. And later I thought, wait, this can help someone else such that I don't have to repeat next Saturday, because I will have new people join the following Saturday. And I was like, but if I could have something to sequentially do this thing. So that's when I formed Bright Academy. So my company is called Bright Consulting, BRAIT Consulting. So I started Bright Academy, bought a domain, put the thing on WordPress, of course put some few plugins, and I was like, set up the registry, the student accounts and all those things, and people started learning. But now the problem is that it will crash oftenly, and I was using WordPress plugins. I've used all of them, and I will be like, this thing is failing every single minute. You'll get a lot of inboxes. Hey, this thing is failing, but whatever you've taught me, and you'll get these feedbacks. Mind you, I'm doing all these things alone without any help or anything, as Zia said, you know. We're living in a generation where, like, I keep mentoring young people where they just want popcorn results. So I would handle the user request. I had a WhatsApp group, a very big community that, you know, people are learning for free. They would ask me a lot of questions. I would reply to all of them. Others would have built their sites, and they will tell me critique for me so that I can hand it over to the client and all that. So it was a lot of work. So I had to work more to invest in this more. So 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, up to 2023, I was just trying different platforms so that this thing can work. In 2024, so when I started building, I invested from my own company now to having the developers craft me a solution. And the thing was now stable. I was like, oh, this is some very good, very, very good technology. So what happened is that I realized there is a very, 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 very big gap, because we have, this generation has a lot of information online. There's YouTube, it has millions of videos, billions of videos, but they don't know where to start. If I learned from YouTube, that thing worked. Okay, we have a lot of courses on YouTube. So my work is to go find the best courses and just aggregate them to the platform. YouTube allows embeds. So this person, the owner of the video, gains, because of course that's a view. It's an embed. The learner is gaining, and I have now a community of people that now can learn a skill for free.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's when I aggregated all these courses there, and now the WhatsApp group really expanded. Now I have like 2,000 and something students there. What happened is that from the group, we formed a community. There are people that upload courses. There are people that reply to queries. We've gotten some people laptops. Like, I ask from the community, who has an old laptop such that you can help this other person? So that's how we've helped some. I have bought some for others. I've bought very many people laptops, those that couldn't. But you see, they are very willing and they really, really want to get out. We have crazy success stories, and you would hear someone tell you, I was an orphan, I was in the streets. Now I have my own agency. I can fend for myself and my family. And I've taken my brother through school, and now my brother is a digital marketer. And these are things that no money can buy. So right now, what I realize is that there are so many people that have the skill to teach, but they don't know how to monetize it, because we have international platforms like Udemy, Thinkific, Teachable, that don't offer the simple M-Pesa services or M-Pesa
Integration.
integration where they can just get paid by M-Pesa. So we've developed a new system. We went actually live yesterday. We're still building it. It's called funza.co.ke, where now people that have a skill can teach, get paid via M-Pesa instantly. We've done the split payment and the split transactions, and that's where we are. So what will happen is that the instructor will be able to earn. The person that is learning from Bright Academy who cannot afford tertiary education will also have a skill. And then we want to start a place within Bright Academy ecosystem where we will monitor the graduates that have been able to run through the skills and the mentoring. I mentor a lot in business. I have a pro group where I tell them to get a small amount per month where I help them now build their agencies. I have quite a number. And then now we want to start a marketplace where now this person is certified that, can work for you because it's something that I've done. I've referred most people to the people that I've mentored and they have told me it's a very good process. So that is the story of Bright Academy.
Interesting. I feel like we've covered EdTech entirely, but maybe tying to that and what you're doing, Stephen, it's a very interesting mixture where, of course, for him, he's going directly to the students. Now, there's you who's really focused on teachers, and there's a huge difference between teachers teaching in Nairobi schools, teachers teaching in international schools, teachers teaching in public schools even. And I don't know, you're even in the process of equipping these teachers with laptops, right? What would you say that journey has been like for you, just being able to upskill teachers? Because there's one thing to give them a laptop and tell them you need to teach your kids tech or innovation, right? But it's also another thing to actually have the teachers understanding how to teach it, as well as providing devices. And I think you can also, to some extent, mention the role that this tech is playing in enhancing the learning experience now for the student.
So I'll say we are not just dumping devices in a school. We do train the teachers. You remember there was that laptop program about 10 years ago that never got implemented really well. In my view, the problem was we were rushing to give the teachers the devices. The teachers then were using Katululu. They never knew what to do with the devices. So for example, today Mwalimu Connect runs the AI teacher training program by HP in Kenya. But that is in context to AI. Maybe let me just mention something to do with that. When I used to visit some schools, that was last year, some school owners will tell me that at some point their teachers will say their kids are very bright. But they never knew, this is the teacher never knew that their learners, when they're given homework, they used to go and use ChatGPT and other platforms. So that's why we brought in the AI teacher program. Two, when you talk about the upskilling, we also brought on board an upskilling program matters digital literacy to the teachers. And why we focus on the teacher? We cannot focus on equipping the skills to the learner, yet we skip the teacher. Many people do tend to focus on the learner. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. And ignore the teacher, yet it is the teacher who is supposed to implement. In the today's schools, you'll find most of the learners are tech savvy. Believe you me, a good number of teachers are not tech savvy. You'll find I'm a teacher in a school, I'm using a Katululu, but my kids at home already have tablets. So if we do not equip the teacher with the skills and give them confidence, there is no way we are going to better learning outcomes. So once we take a device into a school, HP with their full backing and Classera, we do train the teachers for free.
And do the teachers get the devices for free?
No, why should they get the devices for free?
So how does that work? So
Okay.
I'm a teacher, of course you can tell me to pay 30,000 at
Okay,
a
okay. So I negotiated with HP. I told them that, look, now you've given me the best prices for your devices,
You
but
want to say the amount for the devices, for the laptops?
yeah, but you know, laptops, there's a Core
The
i3.
base
The bare minimum, it's 45,000.
45,000.
A brand new,
Mhm.
comes with full warranty, Microsoft software, with full insurance, comes with a tracker. So I told HP that, look, how can we better help our teachers in Kenya, because they all own the laptops, but they cannot afford them upfront. So HP brought in their financing wing called HP Integrated Financial Services,
Mhm.
and now we run a program where,
HPFS.
yes, HPFS,
Mhm.
we give the teachers the devices,
Mhm.
then they pay for up to 3 years. We
3
don't ask
years.
you. We don't ask you for a deposit. Yeah.
So do they pay from their salaries, or do they pay at will?
So what we try to do is to de-risk.
Mm-hmm.
So how we run the program, the teacher comes through the school.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to give you a laptop today,
Mm-hmm.
and then tomorrow maybe the school owner fires you.
So
Yeah.
the school guarantees
Yes.
the teacher.
So what we've come to see is that in some schools, for example, the school owner wants to motivate their teachers. But it is the dream of each and every school for each learner to have a device and for each teacher to have a device.
Yeah.
So depending with the school, some want to motivate their teachers, so they tell their teachers maybe will be paying half the rental fee. We actually call it rent loan. We'll be paying half, then you will be paying half. But we as Mwalimu Connect, we know the school. Yeah.
Interesting. To Z, and it ties to what Mwalimu Connect is trying to do. Of course, to Bright as well. Of course, we can say we can take education fully virtual and we have students learning all these courses from home. But I've seen ALX now apply a very different model where you have the in-hub, the hubs, you have the peer-to-peer learning. What would you say has been the role of approaching education at that level? And of course, the bigger dream, I think, is to do a million jobs, like millions of developers, I think, by 2030. How would you say that approach changes how the learning experience becomes better?
Alright, so human beings are relational creatures. We do well when we bond physically with people. That's the setting we're in right now. So I have a better relationship with him now and Rafiki over here because of this in-person connection. So naturally, students thrive in such environments. So that's why we have our hubs. In Nairobi we have 4, although we have a presence in about 8 countries on the continent.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have 4 hubs in Kenya, specifically Nairobi, Nation Center, the Piano in Westlands, CPS Center on Thika Road, and Gateway Park on Mombasa Road. And we specifically put it like a cross because we wanted to target the main roads that have the highest population of people. Now, as much as ALX, most of the learners, or rather the programs are online, the hubs are to just cater for that aspect of connection, right? But our programs are purely virtual. Virtual because we want to get even that child in Kakamega, the one in Mukuruini, if they have a laptop, of course, or the means to get access to these sessions. But we want to get as many young people educated in the shortest amount of time as humanly possible. So virtual became the thing, right? And then even for ALX, it's trying to ensure that these young people are educated in a way that they can compete globally.
Yeah.
Because curriculums in a lot of our old age institutions have not been updated to match the digital transformation that's happening in the ecosystem and in everywhere actually. You can even see certain companies are now realizing our own staff don't even know how to use basic digital tools. So even in the bid to making your company more efficient, you now have to train your staff. So imagine the young people. So we want to make sure they can get jobs remotely in Netherlands by work from Nairobi. But how do we make sure they do that? They are able to be skilled in courses that are up to par and up to date with what a learner is going through in Utah, right? So that's where the virtual side came in. And there's a place for it because it allows us, like when in our program, I was going to the back end for Founder Academy and I saw someone who was 56 years old apply. I've seen people apply from Embu, someone apply from Kakamega, another one from Kilifi, because it's an opportunity for them to be able to access this information without having to physically come. So it's reducing the expense of education, right? But the physical aspect now we saw, okay, we can't just tell you to come and just sit at the hub. To create a sense of community, as Stephen was saying, We have now the clubs, we have sessions where we bring speakers to talk to them about like how to, because it's one thing to learn, it's another to get a job.
Yeah.
It's one thing to learn, it's another to start a business, another to learn, it's another to position yourself as a freelancer. So the physical aspects and use of the hub is to foster that community sense where they have each other, they can rely on each other, they can teach each other, but they can also be friends. And then the virtual sense is to tap and catch every single learner who wants to upskill themselves and position themselves to compete with other people and get a meaningful job.
Yeah. So what I'm getting is the cause of education remain the same. Tech sort of just comes to democratize it, yeah? Either make it free or make it accessible. And back to you again, I've seen you guys go into high schools now. Is it to approach the students at an earlier age, or are you now starting to craft a situation where we see what the government is trying to do, where you have an entrepreneurship curriculum fused into the school program?
So it seems I'm speaking for both ALX and ALX Ventures. All right.
Yeah.
So both sides, we are going to high schools and universities. It's a sense of recruitment. Because like, for example, when I cleared high school, I went to Bishop Katimugan Girls. I had a whole year of just waiting to get into the University of Nairobi, right? So a whole year of you've done ICDL, now you're done. And then my family, we have, it seems almost like a ritual or a rite of passage. You have to, my dad's side of the family, you have to do CPA Section 1.
Mm-hmm.
So you do Section 1, you're done. But now you still have time. So what do you do then? So we're trying to see how can we ensure that we catch them when they have time. Like as soon as I finish high school, I know for this 6 months, 3 months, I can be doing this certain program to help me prepare for maybe my degree, or prepare me for work, prepare me for short-term gigs, right? Part of that process also meant looking at it from the perspective of, we've seen Gen Z do transformational things in this country with technology. So then that age group isn't waiting for us to meet them where they are. They're going to find their way anyway. So how can we now meet them at the point of conversion? I'm about to clear high school. I'm already thinking of the next steps. Let's show you what the next steps look like. So even for us internally, it became, all right, we can have data science, we can have data analytics, we can have front-end and back-end development, but let's also introduce creative tech. That's a program we just launched. That's AI for content creators. We are introducing content creation itself as a program, because we've seen this boom of people creating content from their homes and earning a living from that. We're looking at graphic designers who are not necessarily employed, but they're using their skills to be able to help someone like you create a poster, create a product and such, and earn a living, a meaningful living, right? So we are trying to catch up with them as they catch up with us, as we all catch up with technology, and ensure that they have a better chance of perspective. Because I remember when I was finishing, I don't know, my age might be showing, my parents, so there was a limitation of what you could be. Architect, pilot, doctor, lawyer, accountant. And as far as you go, if you're creative enough, you can become a news anchor. And especially for the girls, now you're looking at Sophie Kenya and Julie Gishuru. And for me, at some point, that was the goal. But now we're in a season where anything is possible. You could literally be anything you wanted to be. You just need to get the right skill set and then be in a position where you can be seen, and then someone can actually give you an opportunity to earn a living, whether it's through employment or job creation as he's doing, or skilling as he's doing. So for us, it's trying to show them you don't have to follow the traditional path unless you actually want to. There's so many things you can actually do.
Before I go to Mwalimu Connect, I have a question for both of you. Now, you're training online, but somehow everyone around us has not caught up yet. So we still have guys saying, for me to hire you, you need a degree. For me to hire you, you need... So there's a whole issue around certification. So if somebody has watched the videos on Bright Academy, can they go to Safaricom or any other company and say, this is actually a skill that I've learned, that's recognizable? And of course, I think it's a barrier to entry for many tech startups, because now you're training, but is it fit for the market you're training for? Because as much as we are very innovative, we are trying to be fast forward, we exist within certain policies, right? How has that certification journey been for both you and Z? Then as we go to Mwalimu Connect now, would you say that you're looking to a point where your jobs board is a teacher who's gone through Mwalimu Connect is at 100 times better than any other teacher out there because they have the AI training from HPFS and all their upskilling besides the devices. Yeah, maybe Stephen can go first.
Okay, so the certification thing is something, of course, very crazy because one, you can't offer academic certificate because you're not a recognized institution.
Yeah.
However, we can offer a completion certificate,
Mm-hmm.
okay, which of course person A has completed this course in this.
Ni kama music festival.
That's participation. This is completion.
Completion,
Yes,
okay.
so you have a completion certificate. That's the best we can do because now you're like, and this is why in Bright Academy I said I need to democratize education because I have a campus degree certificate. Is it a certificate, whatever, that thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's there, dusted, and I've never used it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never applied. I did software engineering.
Mm-hmm.
I came to relearn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, all these things. I came to relearn them on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And basically, that certificate that I got in campus, it's okay. I can't say it's useless, but I did not actually gain those meaningful skills from there.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the person that is running Bright Academy is a medical student.
Mm-hmm.
He is the person that is running my entire company. Okay, I have taught him how to do graphic design from scratch. He knows all the Adobe suite.
Mm-hmm.
I taught him how to do websites
Mhm.
from scratch. I taught him all the all the business processes. I told him, okay, apply for ALX. He did. ALX product. I told him apply for PLP. So he has graduated in PLP and ALX. And he's a medical student.
Mm-hmm.
So you come and realize the fact that I taught him personally and I would have given him a certificate will be more meaningful
Mm-hmm.
than if he went and did software engineering like me.
As a degree.
Is a degree.
Yeah.
So what we've done in the platform in Bright Academy is that we have certificate of completion, and every lesson is tied. There are those that we've tied to the other that are dependent on the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Like let's say you can't go do graphic design if you haven't completed the course on
Mm-hmm.
principles of design.
Mm-hmm.
So we have tied them together, and you have to complete this so that you're done, and you have to complete all the courses to get that certificate of
So it's a
completion.
complete curriculum.
Yes, all of them are complete curriculums.
Z?
I hear you. I mean, the interesting thing is my cousin, who I tend to call my sister, went to, was it not USIU? What's this university on the road?
Is it?
KCA.
No, I think no. There's a KU, I think. I might be misquoting her, but she studied actual science and then later on did economics, a master's in economics, and right now she does data analytics
Mhm.
at a certain big boy company. I won't say who because now they'll be able to track her. And for her, it's because she ended up working in a bank,
Mhm.
cooperative bank, and at some point she noticed a problem, so an opportunity to fix it. But the only way to fix it was to upskill herself in a very specific course. And that's how she was able to shift from banking altogether to a completely different segment. Now, within us, we are seeing people like those, and for her, she did certifications. At some point, she was telling me, Shiko, if you're ever going to, that's my name at home, if you're going to do a master's degree, it better be something that is, like certain programs or industries like finance don't change as much.
Mhm.
But technology, every 2 years, if not 1 year, something has drastically changed. So she was saying to me, depending on the path you decide to take, you're going to have to do certifications more. Why certain companies are now aligning themselves? Because there's a roundtable we were at, actually, I think we were with you, and we were talking to potential employers, and their issue was all these people are coming with degrees and masters from institutions in Kenya, fantastic, but the curriculum is not up to date with what we actually need to get done in the company. So then you just have a piece of paper with 6 stars on it, but then you can't actually help me do anything. So then companies are now shifting to certain certifications that are being more acceptable. And for us as an institution, what we have now started doing is, of course, seeking a way to get that licensing to be allowed to like get accredited,
Yeah.
that we can have a certificate that actually helps you move somewhere. But beyond that, we're like, okay, what actually really matters? What are you using that certificate for to get a job? So then let's go to potential employers and start having those conversations with them and show them this is our curriculum and this is how it is up to par with Stanford or which other university in the globe that is competing with us. This is how it prepares them to do. This is the interview process you can take them through. See if you can hire them. So we've now tried to skip the loop and go straight to the potential employers and show them the value of our program,
Yeah.
how it will help them run a more efficient company, and now why they should hire from our pool of learners. So that's, for us, we thought around it and we were like, okay, before we even get this accreditation of becoming the University of Nairobi, as much as I love it so much, it's going to take so long. All these learners are going to wait for how long before they get jobs? So let's go talk to the employers and show them the value of our programs and how it actually is competitive. So they can now see, oh, actually, I'd rather just hire from ALX altogether because they have learners
Yeah.
who've gone through software development and I can trust the program because it's hectic and I've gone through it and it's hard and they're going to be quality workers. So for us, as we figure that part out and figure out the certification, whether it's completion, participation, merit, thank you, we're now talking to those employers to see if they can also shift themselves and start appreciating these programs that we are offering to our students.
Interesting. You have a jobs board, right? So does Mwalimu Connect actually make the life of a teacher trying to get a job easier? Yeah. So as a teacher, should I actually go through Mwalimu Connect for me to get a job, right? And the reason I'm asking that is you are in a more traditional business, traditional way of doing things when it comes to certification. For them, they're really trying to cover a new path. For you, the teacher is already in the school, right? But you have your own jobs board. How has that journey been? And would you say there's a shift? And as you answer that, what metrics are you using to measure impact? How are you saying that our teachers that have been trained by through our HPFS program are actually better in classrooms than any other teacher who's not joined the program?
So I'll say, was it about a month ago, we came with a different approach. In Kenya, there are 72 teachers training colleges. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
We
The
have them-
KMTCs.
Teachers training colleges.
TCs, yes.
You haven't included universities like Gretsa. I think 90% of them do BEd, there's MKU and KU.
Mm-hmm.
So each and every year there are thousands of teachers who graduate,
Mm-hmm.
and these are the young teachers. So this is the approach that that now we are focused on. Instead of just throwing away these certifications to teachers outside here, and maybe there's a teacher who graduated 10 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
but they decided to be a shopkeeper or to be a farmer, we'll be moving to all these teachers training colleges.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time you're graduating from that teachers training colleges as a youth, you have these certificates that are recognized globally.
Mm-hmm.
So once you're on the platform, you're visible
Visible to who?
to the employer,
Mm-hmm. The schools now.
to the 10,000 plus private schools in Kenya
Mhm.
and schools abroad.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Because remember, the teaching outside there is not the usual chalk and talk. No school outside will employ you if you cannot use a projector,
Mm-hmm.
if you cannot use a device. So what you're also trying to do is to not damage the name of Kenya outside there. Because if tomorrow we just export you because you graduated 10 years ago with a teaching certificate, yet you're not passionate about teaching, you don't have the digital skills, what will happen if you've gone maybe to teach in Germany
Mm-hmm.
or to teach in a third country? You know, nowadays Swahili is part of their curriculum. Tomorrow they'll say that teachers from Kenya are not competent.
Yeah.
So our approach is, because each and every year, young teachers, let me give you a very good example. If you check my Instagram page, if you go to Mangu, for example, actually I used to do my research with some teachers from Mangu. Last year, but one, they normally call it Kenya 1 in chemistry, Kenya 1 in English. There were teachers below 30 years. That is Mangu High School. So what does that tell you? Most of the schools prefer employing the young teacher.
Okay.
So our focus is on the young teacher.
Mm-hmm. What happens to the old teacher?
They need to pull up their socks. They need to pull up. But then let me tell you one thing. You see, when this digitization of these programs, the moment you've gone to a school to try and train a 42-year-old teacher, they are like, sasa wewe anatuambia nini? We've been here for 20 years, nimekaribia retirement, then you want me to start reading?
Learning something.
You'd rather focus on the young teacher. I liked what she said about those programs after Form 4 when people are still fresh. So imagine training a teacher who's still fresh and looking for the job opportunities.
Yeah.
Wait, so is it that you're partnering with the schools themselves, the training TTCs?
Yes. Now we'll be going
to
the
have your
TTCs.
program integrated, so
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they're also learning, so that they qualify to get onto
Yes.
the board.
And then the beauty of these programs, they only take you a week.
2 weeks, 4 hours.
Yeah, it only takes you a week, and then you can read at your own pace.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go at your own pace.
Who
Yeah.
creates the back end? Have you? Sorry, no, I'm taking over your job. I'm sorry. Yes. Who is determining if they've qualified on your end? Is it that you have a team that goes through their, is it applications or submissions or something, and then they get onto the board, or is it you, or do you have a system? Are you using AI yourself?
So the trainings, I remember you mentioned something that you don't own something like a curriculum or something. These certifications are HP and Microsoft certifications. So there is an exam after the teacher goes through the course.
And it's a global exam.
Yeah, it's a global. It is recognized for the Microsoft one. It's recognized in 120 countries. So you see, it's easier for you to get employment there
I
because
see.
you'll have a
Yeah.
certificate
Yeah.
that is recognized globally. So it is them who access.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to pass that exam. Yeah.
Random question, not related to certification, but I think it's a very important question. So you can imagine that teacher in Turkana teaching at a school there. Of course, let's say they hear about Mwalimu Connect, they apply. You can provide the laptops. The school could have potential infrastructure, but there are other surrounding issues. So there's internet, there is culture, and I know you're trying to tackle some of those problems. Yeah. So how has that been, and how is that building back to your bigger goal?
So for example, there is a company called Mawingu Internet. You've heard it. So they have Mawingu Foundation. So they were introduced to Mwalimu Connect by Microsoft. I think they do work together. So for them, they are very clear. They want to do CSR with schools in remote Kenya. So maybe to answer, you said maybe you might go into a school, you have the devices, but they don't have internet connectivity.
Yeah.
So Mawingu comes in to support on that.
For free.
Yes. And that's only in the remote places in Kenya.
Yeah.
On the other issue on trainings, now it depends. Like was it last week, but my team was in Kericho, and the trainings were being done in-house.
In the schools.
Of course, you take, maybe you invite the teachers in a certain area, then you get somewhere, then you come and start doing the trainings. Yeah. So I believe it's on a case-by-case basis. Yeah.
So we've talked about the bigger EdTech problem to some great extent, yeah, and then there's now the employability question, and I think this is where now ALX Ventures comes in. You've trained bit of software engineering, bit AI, but now ALX has the Founder Academy. You're actually telling these guys, look, you've learned AI, you don't have to go get employed as an AI specialist. You could actually become an entrepreneur and start your own AI firm. How has that been, and would you say it is helping to reduce this gap we have of too many young people in the ecosystem being trained and very few jobs that are available for them?
Okay, that's a good question. We looked at it from, okay, we say we're building a plane while it's flying, so we're a little startup, we're figuring it out as we go, but there's a classic case, even when you're in university, there's always minimum 2 classmates who are selling something that has nothing to do with what you guys are studying. Selling clothes, especially like us who used to go to Gikomba to get carpenters when we were doing our prototyping for our furniture pieces. Someone has already gone to another corner of Gikomba, bought jeans, t-shirts, and then I'm in class and I see it. And I should have seen it, but I was busy with the carpenter. So now someone is selling it to me at 200 shillings and it was 20 bob. But whom am I to ask the question, you know? So we have young people who are rethinking things. They want to solve problems sometimes, and problems aren't necessarily like world hunger. It's even hair bands. Women and now men with dreadlocks need to tie their hair with something. So you create elastic bands that are going to be able to last longer. They're sustainable. They're good for the environment. They can hold hair. So you're solving a problem, right? So I've even seen students. Actually, I was at UON a few days ago, and there was one lady who is studying chemistry, and she's already figured out, I need to create a solution for labs, and I would say the full story because it's her idea, right? We have actually had a student in one of the founder academies last year, not a student, an entrepreneur, who was saying, I teach and I've seen this problem with curriculums versus timetables, and this is what I'm thinking of doing. So we're seeing a situation where people are already in the heart of the thing and seeing the problem and thinking, if only there was a way to make this better, if only there was a way to make this more efficient. So it's not just the students fresh out of high school, fresh out of uni, it's also someone already working. As I mentioned earlier, we have someone who's 56 who's already applied. So it's rethinking solving problems, because business is supposed to be solving a problem, not creating one. So we're trying to see, at Founder Academy, can we help you figure out this idea at its base? You're thinking of doing A. Okay, which kind of customer would you look at? What size of a market is that? Can we do market research and find out, is the problem you think they have the problem they actually have? Or is there another problem that you didn't figure out? And if it's different, can you pivot and address it, or partner and say, Mwalimu Connect is doing this, I'm doing this, let's come together and solve it together, because you can't fix everything in the pipeline. So we're trying to see how can everybody come together and figure out what they actually want to give to the world, not as CSR, but my contribution to life is solving this little piece of the problem. In designing a mug, someone had to be having a factory that has ceramic, another one has plastic, another one probably just has a paint color. That's them contributing to the design and output that is the mug that we're looking at right now. So it's trying to get them to see also, you don't have to do Africa. You can just target Morang and you can still be solving a big problem and making money, because at the end of the day, that's what we all want to do. So the Founder Academy is specifically for that. However, we also figured, naturally, there has to be incubation of sorts. So you've launched, you figured out an MVP, you figured out this is a customer, this is a problem. What happens next? Do we leave you on your own? Of course not, because we figured out the learning side. So we need to figure out to support these guys who are trying to be entrepreneurs. So part of that became, let's start an incubator, where, of course, as much work as you've done, and you have to have really put in the work naturally, you've made some traction, you have some sales, some revenue here and there, you're not transitioning to the incubator where you get the mentorship and the support, and then you can now progress and accelerate yourself a bit more forward. And then we have something called the Do Hard Things Challenge, where you get an opportunity to now not only compete amongst your peers here, but in all the other 8 countries that we have. So the best of each country now goes to Mauritius, or this year we're deciding which country it will be, and you stand a chance to win thousands of dollars. Last year it was maybe about 40,000 thereabout. So we're trying to ensure also within ourselves, as we introduce this startups or entrepreneurs to the networks that we have, we also, there's like a reputation thing. I can't just introduce someone like, I can now introduce you because I know you. I've seen your journey, I understand what you do. I've seen your traction, your commitment. I can now put you in the face of an investor. But if you're green, I've never seen you in my life, you just have an idea, even you have not figured out the idea, there's no way I can introduce you to an investor. So if we put you through a funnel, where even we can now go and argue to a company like Futurize and say, hi, let's do a demo day. Let's have entrepreneurs present their health tech-based solutions, edtech-based solutions, and see if you guys can give them a grant, give them funding, whether you want equity or not, and support them in solving that problem. So of course there's a give and take. It's not just give to handle that mentality we're talking about. But that's our way of figuring that out. But then of course, naturally, as you're going through the submissions, you realize, hey, the way this one is talking, they want to be a freelancer, they actually don't really want to start a business. Hence the Freelance Academy. So I know we look like we're trying to solve so many things at the same time. For us, we're taking it a step at a time and seeing within our circle, what can we actually do? Oh, we can actually do this. Let's try and see if we can incorporate it. If it doesn't work, like a startup, you pivot and you move forward. But for now, that's what the Founder Academy is about, and Freelance Academy. Targeting this young at heart, aspiring entrepreneurs and freelancers to make their solutions a reality.
Nice. So a question to the two Stevens, and now it's around the same thing, which is now monetization, right, of EdTech generally. For them, they're charging, I think, $5 per...
Yes, we introduced the $5 fee only because we realized young people, I don't know what it is. We don't stay committed when we don't remove some money.
True.
And we're like, okay, then $5 is what, 647 bob, 650 bob. We're like, it's cheaper than a burger, my guy. Your dream versus a burger, like I think we can do a trade-off here. Trade off that one burger one time and set up yourself for life. So we've only introduced that because of course we take feedback and we observe the patterns of human behavior. So when they've not committed or invested in any way, you don't actually go the long way. So the $5 is something we are calling an all access fee. So let's say you've come into Founder Academy, you join the 2-week program. And then the 2 weeks are over, so you have 2 more weeks of a month left. But then as you scope in the ecosystem, because now we've restructured our internal, we have our own LMS, we have our own payment hub, we've kind of created our own little bubble. So once you're
Your
in
own
the
EdTech.
yes, it's everything. So once you're inside and you notice, oh my God, there's a content creator program, I can take it. So you don't need to pay another $5 to start it. You've already paid the $5 for the month. So now you can just access it. Then now next month or until it ends, you just pay the recurring fee.
So you can say ALX is the Netflix of courses, yeah? So
Yes.
you pay a subscription fee then, yeah.
And you can access all the movies that you'd like.
And
or
I'd want
courses.
to hear these 2 journeys and how you've been able to monetize EdTech. For you, of course, I think we've talked about it. The teacher pays for the laptop, the school de-risks and all that. For you, I think it's very interesting because I think you come from 2 sides. The founder who's very willing to democratize education and fight for free, rather than the human being who needs to pay their bills at the end of the day. So I'd want to hear how you've been able to monetize EdTech and if fundraising has come across your mind. And if it did, why you did and why you didn't. Yeah.
Should I start? I was hoping could start. Okay. So there's this side of actually democratizing education, like why should someone pay for education? It was hard. I've seen a lot of people, very talented, and they're like, I can't afford this, so let me go take a loan, take a motorbike, become a boda guy, and that's it. And it will pain you to see the person, let's say you grew up with, very smart, leading all classes. This was their dream. You shared, and this guy can't become that thing because they can't afford it. And now there's this other side where people love free things, and they get the hype of free things, and they watch one video and that's it. You have numbers, but the numbers don't translate to results or anything that they've done themselves. And then when you actually say, instead of offering it for free, let me charge us 100 shillings each, they'll complain. They'll say you are ripping us off and the platform is yours and you're helping them. And I've come to realize one thing. If I've not invested in something, I wouldn't give it much credence and much value.
Yeah.
So this is how I did it. One, I realized that the more I grow, the more bandwidth I get. And it's crazy that I will need to have a system that pays for my hosting. Of course, there's hosting, there's domain, there's, of course, the people that are running the community and all that. Because the person that is running in a system where you get errors, oh, I can't log in, I can't do that, and all that things. So I have someone dedicated to that, who I pay. So how do I monetize it? That's where I come in as a personal brand. I teach you for free at Bride Academy, and then I mentor you in business at a fee, very subsidized fee. So I have siloma.co.ke, where now I've placed myself as this thought leader in, you see, digital creatives. That's why I'm positioning myself as. So in Bride Academy, I'll teach you the skill for free. At Siloma, after you're done with that, let me now teach you how to monetize this skill and make an income. Let me teach you how to do, let's say, your invoicing, how to do your accounting, how to pivot, how to niche down, how to scale, how to just build something of your own. I do that through brand strategy. So I help them build a brand that will last long. So how do I charge? Now I realize this is someone who cannot pay much, and I am just someone who needs more time to work on my company so that my company can support Bride Academy. And if I charge much, these people have to be like fully convinced, like extremely convinced that this is a cap, so that they can trust this is a cap. They will need like 10 people to tell them this is a cap. That's not the issue. This cup is safe to use. And 3, whatever is in this cup is safe for me to drink. And even as they're drinking, they'll be like, are you guys sure? And they see it on their face. So in as much as because I have that community group, and what I do, I have aggregated all of them in a newsletter where twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I send them newsletters. I curated my web development course, which I charge at 5,000, because I teach you the whole skill of because I've done this thing for 15 years, been in this tech space for 15 years. So I tell you of all my failures and how now you can build something. So I teach you a more personalized skill. I have 179 lessons. Bit-sized, very small, 3 minutes to 8 minutes max, where I teach them how to redo the Apple website. Academy, it's something we do there. I teach them how to do their own portfolio website, such that whatever they come and they read from there is, you come with your own portfolio. When you're done with this course, you have your own portfolio. From there, I teach them branding, I teach them marketing, I teach them soft skills, because that is something they really lack. They're not as patient, they don't know how to communicate with their clients and all these things. And from there, you graduate now to I have a pro group that I charge 1,000 shillings. This month I told them, now I'm going to increase this amount because you guys are joking. So I told them, I'll refund you your money if you don't do my assignment. So it's very practical. I give them assignments, and I tell them, I need to see your brand up. Okay, I need you to tell me where you are going wrong, and we do online weekly meetings. So where I follow up on exactly what they're building on. Even with all this, you will see that they are hesitant to invest in themselves. So what I do mostly, on my social media, I teach them how to invest in themselves, because I think that is lacking. My peers, millennials, they will do that because like, this is something that's valuable. Oh, it can change my life, it can help me, that's it. So I think in this generation, they're overwhelmed with a lot of information, where all of us are offering the same thing. They will need to know 100% of you, 100% about you, 100% about me, 100% about you. And then they're like, I can't make a decision. So they're in the decision paralysis stage, even though this thing is working for them. So that is how I have monetized. I teach them the skill for free. You come pay me a small amount. I walk with you the journey as I mentor you in doing your own digital agency.
What has been your experience monetizing EdTech?
Wow. I think it's very hard to monetize EdTech. When we started Mwalimu Connect, the jobs board, we used to charge both the school and the teacher.
Which school? The school they're coming from?
The schools that advertise for the vacancies.
Oh, the vacancies.
But maybe let me pose the question. Among the two, who do you think was more willing to pay?
The teacher.
The school.
Oh, it's me. Oh. I think the teacher. Because the
I'm a
school
teacher, I need a better job. The school...
Why should I pay
I'm
to
going
look
to
for a
pay you
job?
anyway.
You're a scam.
But you saw something different.
Yeah. So, how we started, we came to realize that the teacher was more willing to pay a subscription fee.
Okay, 1-0, you win.
So in terms of monetizing, went back to the drawing board, looked at the numbers. We all see when TSC announces for vacancies of 10,000 teachers, 400,000 teachers apply. So that's already statistics. So actually when we started, we were charging more the school. But we got to a point where we'd rather tell the schools to advertise and recruit on the platform for free, but we charge a job seeker only 100 bob per month. But remember, the same teacher, if let's say today I'm a teacher, I live in Kangemi, a young teacher, I want to look for a job, how much time will it take me and the cost? I'll wake up, take breakfast, maybe use a boda boda to the stage, maybe leave Kangemi, I'm going to Kawangware, look at the time and money. Vis-a-vis 100 bob.
Then you have the jobs on a platform.
From the comfort of a simple mobile phone. As long as they were assured of credibility, and this is not a scam, they were paying in numbers. So that was one of the ways that...
So do you want to give us an amount of how many teachers have paid?
So that we see. If
So
we
that
can-
we see if
No.
400,000 is really...
do you want to invest or...
Yeah, if we see we can invest.
No. But I remember in the first 3 months, we had 2,000 teachers subscribed. And here's the beauty of how we were trying to monetize. By a teacher finding the jobs on the platform, but our platform is very interesting. On every teacher's profile, there is a 50-second video. They need to explain themselves, where they need to be hired.
Nice.
So instead of you having to travel to Voi and you're in Kangemi, a school in Voi, you can be able to tap on your profile and even see how you look, how you talk, etc., etc. Two, on the monetization, I heard you mentioned something very interesting on the commitment. Actually, in the program we run for the devices, as much as there's zero deposit, once you come to your school and now you say you want them, we tell you now, give us a commitment. It's negotiable.
So that's the school now.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the device. Yeah, give us a commitment.
Who gives the commitment?
It is the
teacher or
school.
the school?
Us, we deal with the school. That's what me saying before. We've come to know that some schools now, from the owners, there's a way they arrange how their teachers will get the devices.
Yeah.
Some schools actually buy and own them, then they give the teachers. You understand? So on the commitment, when you go to a school, maybe they say, we want to start with 10, we want to start with 15. So we also tell them to give us a commitment. Because I also believe nothing is free. And there is no way I'm going to risk everything and you're risking nothing. Yeah, so more on monetization, that's how we monetize. On the upskilling programs, through Mwalimu Connect, we give them to the teachers for free. As value add. For example, if a school decides to take our devices, they come to install with the HP Life Upskilling program by the HP Foundation, which is free.
Yeah.
But remember, it is not just free, we've already monetized on the device.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. As we wrap up, we're slightly past an hour. A question to all of you, and it goes to the fundamentals of African homes. Yeah, it happened to me in Strathmore when you walk into a class and you're the only one without a MacBook, or you're the only one with rugged jeans, whatever it is. Yeah, how do you balance? I'm the only one without a shirt even.
It doesn't matter the text.
The
The world wants results. I keep telling young people, the world wants results. Doesn't matter what you wear.
Now for me, anyway, so question is, how have you been able to balance culture? Yeah, and I think it's something that is very important, because I don't think it even comes from the school or the kids, it comes from the parents. Yeah, because I think in the EdTech space, you're also dealing with parents. Good Stories have also launched an EdTech. We are training cybersecurity at Africa Icon Academy. And one of the things we are realizing, so we put out a call, and then now it's students will email you randomly. My father wants to come see the school. My father is asking, what laptop should he get me? My father is asking, there are those interesting questions. So it's not, we are not saying that if we start EdTech today now, everyone goes online. And I think parents have a huge say when it comes to education, right? How is that balance on one side, but then how are you able to balance different cultures? Because especially, I think the three of you are offering courses on a national scale. So a class has a kid from Turkana, a kid from Westlands, a kid from Roaka, a kid from Nyeri. How is that balance like in class now? Because now the kids are in class and you have to teach them, you have to certify them, they have to go fight for the same jobs. How is that balance? Maybe we can start with you.
Actually, I've faced that thing right and head on. despite me running an online platform, I go to, I had partnered with a friend of mine. It's called the Ngige Ndongo Foundation.
Mhm.
So, and last year we went to Ithanga,
Mhm.
Thika, and Gatanga.
Mhm.
And it was crazily devastating to see over 1,000 young people in a church. And they were told, hey, we are going to teach you about digital skills. And you have a mic.
Mhm.
And you see young girls coming with babies. And they were there at around 7 a.m. and they left at 6 p.m. You could see how hungry they were, and they were like, okay, I can learn a digital skill and I'll get a job.
Mhm.
And so they had, the guy had seen my videos on TikTok, and he said, oh, you run an online thing? This will be powerful because we have so many you see young people in the villages who cannot afford school, and they're photographers, they're videographers, they're all these things. They want to be digital marketers. So you just come, we see how we can integrate them such that they can go learn for free. We just tell them the only thing they need is internet and a phone. So I went there, and first I was shocked because you don't know where to start, because this person is very, very, very disconnected. Some had just come from doing manual jobs, and he's looking at you, and he's like, what is this guy saying? I remember asking one a question, and he asked the other person, what has he said? So the guy did not know English.
Mhm.
Now, and because of that, this is what we did. We have a WhatsApp group, the main WhatsApp group for Bright Academy. I call it the Digital Moran program because now I'm converting them to be digital Morans. You can't bring such a person to that community because it's full of people talking about code, talking about, I don't know, load balancing, talking about a lot of crazy IT jargon. If you bring that person to that group, they'll be like, what is this? So this is what we did. I asked the guy, how can I help these people? He told me, you can do, we did computer packages. That was the first thing. We taught them how to write a CV, videos, all basic level stuff. Because now you imagine, these people come from a completely different culture from this one. So we created their own WhatsApp group. So we divided them into cohorts. So we have the Katanga cohort, we have the Ithanga cohort. Now, in this, and that's why partnerships are very important. This is a guy in the grassroots. He was helped all through his education.
Yeah.
So he said, I want to give back. I did not have a platform where to do all this, but I have people in the ground. So we aggregated basic courses on YouTube of communication skills, how to do a CV, how to apply for a job, how just basic roadmaps. And we separated them from each other such that we come from the same village. We have one culture that we are having.
Yeah.
So we can understand each other. So we've been able to train a lot of graphic designers there. Some have learned digital marketing. They are social media managers. It's from there. And you'll find that because I'm doing something with myself and I've done the new church poster, I'll be like, oh, Innocent did this. I can also do it.
Yeah.
So that is how we've managed actually to separate that culture. Because if that person, we put them on the main group, they'll be very devastated. They'll be like, no, this is not my thing. Let me go back to farming, or let me go to do manual jobs. So we segmented them like that. Yes.
Good question. Part of the hub solution, or coming up with the hubs, was to meet that issue, actually. Because if you were to segue a bit and think around when you're coming up with a business idea, you have to think about the customer. And thinking about the customer is thinking about who's going to pay. And with a lot of students, the student is the user but not the payer. The one who pays is the parent. So then part of that process meant thinking around, okay, so what's important to the parent? Sometimes they need to see, where's this office? And I bring that into picture because a few years ago I was running an asset financing startup. And in Nairobi, we didn't need an office. The office was just there for vibes and, I guess, everyday operations. We went to Mombasa. Again, we just needed a space within Samsung shops, set up our stands. People know where we are. They can buy their phones to us. Fantastic. And then we came to Kericho, and we thought it would be the same rodeo. It was not. They needed a physical place to come and see the product, but also see a face. They needed someone to associate the product with. So if there's ever a problem, they had someone to complain to. So there's a certain demographic of people, especially the older generation who are now parents. They always need somewhere to refer to. So once you understand that, you understand, even as you're creating the learning courses, programs for the user who is a student, who's young, Gen Z, very technologically advanced, you have to consider the parent and how the parent thinks, what influences the choices that a parent has. So for us, number one, the hubs became very important for that because we'd have open days before a cohort starts where parents can come with their kids and ask all the questions they need to ask. And then for them, it's also almost like an assurance of, so if anything goes wrong, this is where I'm coming to complain, So we have that for them. And of course, we can't always have them come to us. So another thing we do, we do have like a call center. We have our teams call them to just answer everyday questions, but we now also go to them. So we go through maybe through the university, but they do have a parents' day kind of setup. We plug in and we make sure we're also here to say, this is who we are. We have partnered with this university. Some of your kids are in 2 programs at the same time, and one of them is ours. This is who we are. So it also helps address, who are you? Who are these people? What is the ALX? Where are they from? They're saying Mauritius is on the website, but surely my child is in Kakamega. So it helps address that question of, for that generation, how they think. They need somewhere to associate. This program is in this office, in this building, so if anything goes wrong, this is where I'm going. So we thought about it that way, and so the hubs were also part of that, where your parent can come and meet someone at any given time who can answer every question that they have, and also as well to address the learning experience. So for us, that's how we address the parents, to be honest. It's just making sure there's somewhere they can actually go in and listen, learn about the program in tandem with their student or their child, and also make sure we have people on standby to call, people on standby to SMS, and us who are also ensuring that the websites and every other social media platform or visually represented digital platform can be up to date. Even we have a chatbot that's speaking in Swahili. It's AI enabled, so it answers questions about our programs in Swahili as well. So we're trying to find ways to meet them where they are, to make it as easy as possible for them to enroll their children into the programs.
And for Stephen, I'd want to hear the same answer, but there's an addition I'm looking for. Yeah? So for you, even connecting teachers with jobs abroad, it sounds like that thing for connecting people to jobs in Saudi Arabia. So demystify whatever you're doing, skilling teachers for international placements, because I think there's a whole story around that currently. But also, is there fear? I'm a teacher. The same thing is Z saying, yeah? I'm a teacher in Kakamega. I hear about Mwalimu Connect, be it through a workshop or whatever. But now it's this new world for me. A teacher in Nairobi probably has seen ads, they understand how tech generally works. Yeah, is it the same, and how do you bridge that gap? And of course, a question I've been having for you is, do teachers apply to jobs depending on the type of school? If today I go to Mwalimu Connect jobs board, right, and there is Kakamega Primary School and there is International School of Kakamega. Of course, one carries more power. Is it a thing? Do you even disclose the salary to the teacher so that as they're applying, they're able to make the decision?
So it depends. Some schools want to put it out there how much they want to pay, but to make the work easy, the school narrows down to the specifics, the person they want. Did you do BEd? I think most of them prefer teachers who did diploma, bachelor in education. I came to realize actually most of the schools prefer those who did diploma, but they have digital skills certificates. Yeah. So if the advertisement is for an international school, they'll have put their breakdown there.
Yeah.
And from the other
So
side,
the teacher makes the decision.
yeah, and also the school is able to view
Okay.
your profile.
Okay.
Remember what when I spoke about that short video? So you'll of course be able to say what you're looking for. If you're looking to teach in an international school, the YU has to be actually for that video. It is everything in your CV. Try and speak about it in 50 seconds, because remember today you can go to a sidebar and tell somebody to do your CV, and that's what you came to realize before. Schools will hire a CV, a Kamau in a CV, but whoever goes to the school is our Erimo, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
It's a completely different person. Maybe also let me mention something you talked about Strathmore when you go a school at Strathmore University. When you go and find somebody with a MacBook, etc. So what you've tried to do with the schools in Kenya, and I like this because even the school owners are supporting it. That's what they're doing. They don't allow bring your device.
So if the school buys the device, all the teachers have the same device in class.
Yes.
Okay.
What also schools are doing,
They
are buying-
wants her MacBook.
schools are buying maybe laptops.
Mhm.
Maybe you remember when you were in school, there used to be streams. So you find if a school, each stream has 30 people, they want to own 30 laptops. And all the 30 laptops look alike. This is to avoid tomorrow somebody comes with a Mac, somebody else comes with a Mtumba, somebody else comes with a whatever. You know, it brings all those types of problems. There was another question you had asked, I think I've lost.
The culture, just you different people fighting for the same resources.
Maybe let me say this from a Mwalimu Connect point of view. Our salespeople are teachers.
Young teachers or old teachers?
I will say, yeah, not that young, but experienced but young, 30 to 35. You see, once we bring teachers in one room, and you want to speak about the devices, you want to speak about the upskilling, you're not supposed to take a technical person there. Somebody will go and start speaking there, I don't know Alex, I don't know what, I don't know. If you take a teacher there, they even open up. It's like even maybe their therapy. A teacher will raise their hand and say, you know me, another day in class, I don't know, my student came, I don't know with a what, with a tablet, I never even knew what they're talking about, you know. So what you've tried to do is to make this an education something, including the people who are part of the team. And that's why I like it. I never did bachelor's in education, but I think I've put myself outside there. People know I'm a teacher. I know nothing to do about teaching. So there is no way I can speak better or sell better to a teacher compared to another teacher who is trained speaking to the teacher.
Yeah. Interesting. Cutting short, closing remarks. I want to hear each of your views. The next 10 years for education. And I think from today's conversation, one of the things we are learning is we can separate traditional education and say we are going to add tech. It's not like other industries where you can just come add tech and you just change. I think there's a lot that is foundational that can change. The next 10 years, what does EdTech look like for you? Be it skilling, be it training, be it provision of devices, be it the schools themselves, whatever it is, you can start with.
So I'll say in the next 10 years, a lot will change in the education sector. For example, if today you go to schools, they themselves will tell you they want to do away with books. You know, with the new CBC curriculum, I was in a school, was it 2 weeks ago, they did show me a carton and they told me, you see that carton? Those books are worth 1.6 million. But they told me after they bought them, you know, this curriculum has a lot of changes. So invest in these books, I don't know, in 2 months,
A new
they're
curriculum is
relevant.
out.
So you can imagine it is the schools. Let me put it this way. You see, when Uber came, we all were saying, or even all people were saying, there's no way Uber can beat the taxi guys. But today there are no taxis. So today it is the schools who are saying they want digital content.
So is that an opportunity for a founder out there trying
It
to
is an
be the
opportunity.
EdTech
That was
space?
my opportunity
Yeah.
because where will this digital content be put? I think 99% of the EdTech startups deal in content, e-learning, or the LMS.
Yeah.
But do you put the digital content on a blackboard? So the schools need the devices so that they're able to implement
The
what they
digital
want.
content.
Yeah. So I see in the next 10 years, we'll have been able to digitize the education sector.
Fully.
99%. You see, the same way Kibaki was saying free education is coming, people were saying quote unquote stories are jabba. But now it came to be. You see, the way Michuki came and said seat belts, 14-seater, it came to be. In 10 years, believe you me.
We'll have a fully digital.
Yeah, and you see the beauty of
system.
education. Parents in Kenya value education.
Yeah.
So as long as they hear the school says this thing is going to add value to your learners, they'll invest. That's why you see parents selling cows. They sacrifice even maybe what they'll eat. You know, so in the next 10 years, I believe the education sector will be digitized almost to 100% in 10 years. Yeah.
Z, I'd also, as you answer that question, I'd want to hear your outlook on the same, but for future of work.
Okay, so we're seeing. I remember there was this company called EDX. There's
Yes.
Coursera.
Udemy.
There's another Udemy. There's another platform, I can't remember its name. That was partnering with this big dog universities, Stanford, MIT, Harvard, and making courses available that you don't now need to fundraise from your whole village or family set group to now cross the border and go to London to study, but you can actually access the same content locally. So now, the same way ALX is looking at it is, if I can access the same content that this child in Utah, in London is accessing, that means I can compete for the same job. As long as a company allows or is open-minded to remote working. Thank God for COVID, unfortunately. COVID forced employers to rethink employment, because now you think, okay, we have developers in India, we have developers in Kenya. Why do I have to have the developer sit in my company, in my office, when they can still do the same job as long as they have internet in Africa? Let me just equip them with an allowance to buy a laptop and get internet, and it's good to go. So then it comes back to the education perspective, and I like that you asked a question about culture, because I don't know if you noticed, there's a time during the EdTech conference, one of the attendees told me about how, is it in Kilifi or some part of Kilifi, some students were missing school because their parents, especially the women, the girls, the parents were saying, but your value as a woman isn't really in that. And if you think, well, that's Kilifi, and it's not even the Kilifi that we know that we, as Nairobi people, we go and tour. It's the rural parts of Kilifi. But Nairobi used to be like that, if you think about it. There's a season and there's a time women couldn't really venture into education because of XYZ. Or even young men, there's certain fields of work that were being discouraged because of A, B, C, D, F, G. So now work has started morphing, like how you see chefs are men, not even women. But apparently the kitchen is the space for women. So a lot of evolution is happening whereby the digital content out there from different learning platforms, different partners like you two, are helping everybody in the ecosystem, including the parents, see the change that is achievable, as Barack Obama would say, yes, the change I can believe in. So we're seeing parents catching up to this. We're seeing learners aggressively catching up with this. Employers are now shifting their mindsets to know the certifications and the quality of work they want in their employees. So everybody is slowly catching up. Government is now saying, oh, I actually need to catch up with this. So everybody is weirdly turning their heads to that. So what I see happening in like 10 years, we'll have a lot of young people working remotely, being able to have a CV that just doesn't have the typical Kenyan companies, but has global companies. I've worked in a company in Rwanda and another one in Switzerland, but I'm sitting right at home in Mukurweini. You know, I just haven't, KPLC still do their thing, and I have internet from Safaricom, I'm good to go. But we are seeing people being able to compete, because that's been the biggest hurdle, I guess, for a lot of guys. You can't, there would be a feeling of, why would an American company hire me? I can't compete. You know, I don't speak English, but now every school has English. So with all these small advancements, they seem small, but when you look back, you realize we have made such progress in work. So I see a lot of our young people who are very smart, very motivated, being in the workforce that's not just Kenyan, but continental and global, and making significant strides in change.
Siloma, same question, future in 10 years, but for you, I think I want to hear about AI. I mean, you've trained a kid, now you expect them to do exams, but it's not them doing the exams, it's some random model. How does that future look like for everyone?
I wanted you to mention that word again. You said AI.
AI.
You hit the spot. Which camera should I look?
That one.
This one. Okay, hi. My name is Siloma Stephen. And I want to address you guys here that are doing what we call AI washing. This thing has really devastated a lot of the people that we are mentoring. And they are doing drugs because they are like, what is the use of learning? AI is coming. I'm useless. A machine will replace me. Please, for the sake of humanity, and for people like us that are mentoring a lot of young people out here, don't use the term AI to scare people. I don't know if you guys have experienced the same thing. AI washing, AI is here. Don't do this. AI is coming. You haven't.
I think we have.
Especially teachers are very scared of.
Yes.
They think
They
their
think
jobs
it
are
will
gone.
replace
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Like, have you thought, Mr. Siloma, I was thinking about farming. Yes, I'm in tech, but AI is coming. I'll be worth 0 in 10 years. Why am I working hard? And this is one of the hardest thing. And I tell them, you know what, AI is in its early stages. You actually, as a web developer, you come and listen to clients' requests. I want an AI-enabled website. So ask the client, what is AI? They're like, it's a cool thing. I need something of the future. They don't know what that is. Right now, AI is in its early stages, but the way people are washing it, it's like that thing is autonomous. You will wake up in the morning and you have a website. You have a job, you have money on your table because the AI has worked for you. So what I'll tell young people, and it's something I keep saying, I'll have to do a very good, we need a podcast on this AI washing
AI
thing.
Mm.
People are washing and some are reaping money from it because you create a panic and that's it. So what I'll tell young people, education will never come to an end because someone taught you how to eat. Someone taught you every single thing that you're now here. You are taught, and because you are taught, it simply means that education will never come to an end. And the difference between the rich and the poor is simple, one thing, knowledge and information. So on AI, AI is an enabler. You have to see it as an enabler because Adobe came and there's this generative AI, which is very cool, by the way, a very cool feature. And photographers were like, we will all be replaced because AI has come in, and we've seen big companies use AI stuff. And because they're using AI stuff, it does not mean that we don't have photographers anymore. You'll have to know that in the future, of course, we will have machines. And because we'll have machines, it means that people interact with people. As she has said, there's a hub, they have hubs. Okay, if AI is really coming and it's going to kill everything, then these people doing AI washing want to insinuate that we'll just be having, in this podcast, we'll be having one robot from Mwalimu Connect, another one from ALX, another one from NDU. So we'll have robots talking. But you forget you're dealing with humans. And because you're dealing with humans, it simply means that we will also need to equip ourselves. We need to equip ourselves. So in the next 10 years, how I am seeing education change is that for people that do courses, like us, you go to aggregate a course on YouTube, it was done 4 years back, everything has changed.
Yeah.
Okay? So what I'm seeing is that we will have an AI model that can model me as Siloma. Okay? And I just input exactly
content.
what it wants to put, even if it will talk for an hour. So what will happen in the future of LMS is that all I will need to do is to update that system with the latest data. And in the LMS, automatically, if I was talking about AI washing, I could correct exactly what I am saying.
So you're saying your YouTube video, the same YouTube video I watched yesterday
Yes.
could be different tomorrow with new content.
That is exactly what I am seeing.
Okay.
Yes, because, hi, your instructor was upgraded.
Interesting. So we're going to give our closing remarks, and the closing remarks are just what you do, where we can find you, I want to agree with what Siloma said. I once went to a washroom in a Nairobi hotel. I was almost unable to flush because there are no.
Okay.
So what did you do?
You have to finish
They had
the
a
story.
manual. They had a manual. So I had to read. So you finished your business, and you have to take 1 minute reading to figure out how to flush.
Hi, Alexa.
And then it has different types. There's a upward one. There's a downward one. It was confusing. So yeah, it's
You should have
very.
read it before.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Your toilet has been updated.
Yeah,
Toilet
has been
software.
updated. Anyway, we're going to start with Stephen. Again, in 1 minute, what you do, where we can find you. Yeah.
So thank you for hosting us today here. So again, what we do at Mwalimu Connect, we do have a jobs board. You can find us at www.mwalimukonnect.com. Where we are based in Nairobi, in Kilimani, and all our details and contacts are on our website. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pressure. Hi again. My name is Zigitahi. I work at ALX Ventures as the entrepreneurship specialist. I lead the Founder Academy and Freelance Academies. If you'd like to know more about our programs and sign up, please go to ALX-Ventures. That will take you straight to our website. You'll find program at the very top. You can click the drop down and explore what we have. We do have a whole outline of impact, outcomes, everything that you can see to answer your questions. If you'd like to see the whole chain of what we do, like specifically the Do Hard Things Challenge, on YouTube you can go to ALX Kenya and you'll find videos on the episodes we did for last year and who the winners were, just to see where you can go to the length of your journey if you're that motivated. Otherwise, you can find me on LinkedIn as Zigitahi as well. If you want to have any if you have any questions and you want to chat, please DM me and I will answer your questions happily.
My name is Siloma Stephen. I'm a web developer, digital marketer, graphic designer. I do all those things regarding digital. I'm a founder of Bright Academy, BRAIT academy.com, where it's a free learning management system for people that cannot afford tertiary education, where I've concentrated mostly on digital creatives being digital marketers, web developers, graphic designers, photographers, videographers, and people in IT. I also I'm having a startup called funza.co.ke, Funza to mean teach, Swahili word for teach. It's for instructors that have a skill, and would want to monetize their courses online. We are still developing it. We're going to launch it very, very, very soon. But you can go to the website and check out what we have. And you can find me on social media, Siloma Stephen. You can go to my website and get everything that I do, articles that I've written, young people that I've mentored in business at www.siloma.co.ke.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stephen, Z, and the other Stephen. My name is Mago the Innocent, co-founder at Startinev, and we have partnered with the UK Tech Hub and the British High Commission in Nairobi to just hold a space for founders, enablers, building in this ecosystem. And for the sake of this conversation, we also have an EdTech. We run Africa Hackon Academy, planning to nurture the cybersecurity excellence in Africa. So we are training on cybersecurity and everything in between. If you want to reach me, to reach us, feel free to look us out at www.startinev.com, at Mago the Innocent, UK Tech Hub, Nairobi, British High Commission, and see you on the next one. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Men
We kept doing this.
No, when I was doing that, I could feel it coming down.
It was in your brain.
No, when it was coming down.
2 hours. I think it's
Sema ndio walikuwa wana hizo my English.
Now they have
prawns.
No. Every first Sunday of the month they have brunch.
Kumbe unaitwa Shiko?
Sunday in that church.